everybody. Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog, here with you for Western Oklahoma Sports Night, and a quick addition here on the podcast schedule is coming to you on a Monday. It's not really nighttime, but we'll still call it Western Oklahoma Sports Night. But I thought I'd take a chance to try to catch up with a busy man in Western Oklahoma sports. That's Luke Clement, the sports director for Wright Radio, and Luke joins me via the Ramsey Broadcasting Studio hotline. How are you doing, Luke?
Good. How are you, Chuck?
Should I give equal credit to you since you're at your employer's office and using their equipment as well?
Yeah, I am.
Wright Media Broadcasting.
Yes, hooked up to the mixer and everything. Chado got me hooked up.
Oh, Chado from Caddo, man. That
Chado
guy
from Caddo
always has the good hookups.
He does. I don't know where we'd be at with that Chado.
Oh yeah, I think there would just be a smoking hulk of a broadcast facility there without Chado from Caddo. But
no doubt.
Anyways, how have you been, buddy?
I've been good. Staying busy. Spring break was nice. Back in class today, and just trying to get wrapped up with graduation and everything.
Oh yeah, you'll get graduated in May, and
yes, sir.
You're already working full time. So man, you've had a busy slate for going on a year now. I think you are at your year anniversary as the sports director for Wright Media.
I was talking about that yesterday or this weekend, trying to figure out when I started this position, and I think I am right at a year.
Yeah, because I know I was done with it by the end of May. So
okay, yeah, right there, yeah.
It's more suited for young guys like you with all kinds of energy. So it's a fun position, but it's also a lot of work and a lot of grind. And you've done a great job in this year keeping up with Wright Media and all the sports in Western Oklahoma. Really, you should have the podcast that says Western OK Sports Night. But we'll involve you as much as you feel like you want to be involved. But man, so much going on with regards to not just sports in Western Oklahoma, but also all around. It was tournament weekend, and the NCAA didn't. I mean, there's a lot of people disappointed, Luke, because of a lot of the power conference teams just kind of held chalk. Yep. And then not as many upsets in the first round as maybe normal in past years, but still some exciting basketball.
No doubt. You mentioned the no upsets, no Cinderellas. I saw a stat that 13 through 16 seeds were all 0-4 in the first round of the tournament. So I was really hoping New Mexico State or
New Mexico
or McNeese was going to make a run, but both of them fell out.
Yeah, and Colorado State, man, yesterday had that game won. Maryland, the big kid Queen hits a runner at the end to win it at the end of regulation, and Colorado State had just hit a three to take a lead in that. Yeah. Man, it was that's tough sledding there, but it was quite the eventful. I mean, you know, I hear different voices, and we're kind of running opposite of one of your network broadcasts right now, who's I call him the pencil neck on the West Coast. He's on 97.3 The Score right now. So if you want to get irritated, great place to listen. But, you know, he's one of those that's for all the power conferences getting, you know, name brands and things like that. But to me, Cinderella stories have been such a big part of the NCAA tournament my whole life.
Well, that's why you watch. You watch for the big upsets. You watch for the buzzer beaters. That's where I'd say half of the excitement comes from, watching the March Madness tournament.
Exactly. Well, and a lot of other stuff, as I mentioned, going on. We'll kind of touch on all of it here in a quick hit. And Western OK Sports, we are live on YouTube right now at Lawdog Sports, and you can comment if you catch this. And if you're not catching it, we'll try to encourage you and many others to subscribe so that you can catch the content when it comes out fresh and live. Let's go ahead and start, Luke. We'll start with college basketball. And you work for 97.3 The Score with Wright Media, and they are the flagship station of OU basketball in the Western Oklahoma area. And, I don't know, flagship station, but they are the station for OU sports in Western Oklahoma. Men get eliminated on Friday against UConn. Then UConn gets eliminated by Florida yesterday. That was a tough one. But
so that was another one that UConn could have had that one for sure.
Oh yeah, they led a majority of that game, I think, and then but OU gave the Huskies all they wanted, and Jeremiah Fears really did a great job, and really kind of the one that carried it. But now there's talk, and we'll just go ahead and jump into coaching changes. I hear talk that Villanova might be interested in Porter Moser and some of the other openings that are popping up. I mean, OU fans wanted him gone back in January, and they kind of recanted a little bit once they got on a little bit of a streak and made the tournament. They may not have a say this time.
Right? No, first of all, Jeremiah Fierce, he is a stud who's probably put money on he's not going to be back at OU next year.
Oh,
He's probably going to be in the league. But no, Porter Moser definitely on the hot seat. A lot of people calling for his head or calling for his position. Um, he hasn't produced. He's had the teams, he's had the athletes, but the results are not there.
yeah, he's been a first half of the season guy, and they've come out and done really well. I mean, what got them in the tournament was December. I mean,
Yeah,
it
the late
was
run that they went on.
well. I mean, just
Well,
those wins against like Michigan and Arizona and some other
Louisville,
teams,
yeah.
and yeah, and those quad one wins or tier one, whatever they want to call them. That's what carried them over. Anything less than that, and they wouldn't have sniffed the tournament. But I'll just say this: it's my experience with a lot of these coaches. The seat feels a little hot, and you got options. Go ahead and take them. I mean, if he is being courted at all by a school up further north or east, I mean, he may not have the unprecedented competition in the Southeast Conference that they had this season, but it's not going to get that much easier.
No, and especially I think as a basketball coach, Villanova is definitely more an attractive position than OU. That's a basketball school. They're
Oh
going
yeah.
to put more resources into the basketball program, try to get you more athletes, a better team than OU is going to offer to the basketball team.
For sure. It'll be interesting, but the Lady Sooners are in action in the Sweet 16, or trying to make the Sweet 16 for the first time. I was pretty stunned to see. I think it's 2013. It's the first time that they'll have a chance if they win against Iowa.
Yeah, it'd be if they haven't made the Sweet 16 since 2010. I looked at that yesterday. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it's going to be a tough, definitely not the Iowa team that they've had the past couple years, but still a tough test.
Well, some familiar faces on that Lady Sooners team in Zaya Van, who I covered play-by-play wise when she played for the Bethany Broncos, and just a really talented high school player in the state of Oklahoma. But then also Tuttle's Landry Allen, who doesn't get quite
Yes.
the minutes that I guess because of the Beers girl, but Landry's 6'2" and has a good touch around the bucket. I would think she might play in some role going forward, or if not next year. But it'll be an interesting. Jenny Baranchik, what a coaching hire that has been for the Lady Sooners.
Yeah, she's going on a little run. Couple of tournament visits, and sounds like she's got a pretty good squad going in Norman.
They said she'll jump in on practice. She's
Really?
an Iowa grad. That she'll kind of help her players jump in and be prepared for, I guess, some of the things Iowa does. But that will be interesting. But you'll be having that one on 97.3 The Score as well, correct?
Yes, 2:30 pregame, 3 o'clock tip off.
All right, and that's today. So they're at Lloyd Noble. So that'll be interesting to see how the turnout is as well for women's basketball as they get on. And then also the OSU Cowboys, man, I caught the end of that SMU game in the NIT. And this goes way back to my childhood, Luke, but I can remember when Tulsa won the NIT back in the early 80s. And you couldn't have just what I remember as a young man, you could not have mistaken the excitement for an NIT championship much different than getting farther and losing in the NCAA. I know everybody wants to make the NCAA tournament, but
Yeah.
If OSU can pull off an NIT run, I mean, any kind of wins help the program.
No doubt. Steve Lutz, I think he's done a really good job, which is year two for him now, or
Yeah, I think so.
he's year two for Steve Lutz, and definitely will help out with recruiting and just giving him more respect around campus. The program all in all.
Yeah, and yet yesterday Illinois got beat, and that was I think that was the loss that cut out the final guy who had a perfect bracket.
Yeah,
So I saw that online, but always good to see Brandon.
41-0, I think is that how far that bracket went, which is just nuts.
Yeah, that is. I honestly, I mean, I'm pretty impressed with my bracket. You joined in on our Lawdog Sports
Yeah,
bracket madness,
I think I'm last place on that one.
but you know what? Last place is not that far. I was looking at the scores and like I have 50, and I think if you're in last place, it was like 44 or something like that.
Really?
It wasn't that big of a stretch. Now I think I've lost one. I might have lost one of my final four teams, but out of the Sweet 16 teams, I landed 12,
There you go.
and
I haven't,
I mean, I'll be proud of that.
no doubt. That's definitely something to hang your hat on.
I think so. So,
I'm,
anyways, but yeah, OSU gets the win over SMU yesterday, 85-83 in the second round of the NIT, and that was on the road in Dallas.
yeah,
And SMU had a lot of athleticism. There were people talking about the Mustangs being a tournament team, and had the ACC not been so just Duke oriented.
yeah.
And I know a lot of people had Clemson also in some runs. SMU with a little more competitive ACC might have gotten the tournament nod.
No doubt. The ACC kind of, besides Duke, was kind of weak this year. I
Yeah,
mean, Clemson drops out in the first round. Duke has looked incredible. Out of all the one seeds, I mean, they're just powering through the tournament. Auburn and Houston kind of struggled there for a little bit against Gonzaga, but Duke is just rolling.
yeah. OSU gets that win, and they will advance. I think they take on North Texas
Yes.
in the next round of the NIT, which North Texas has. They've got some Oklahoma talent, I think, on that squad, and then OSU gets to come home to Gallagher-Ibis, so that will
They
be.
host that game?
They're hosting, and that is going to be tomorrow at 8 o'clock p.m. That should be on your other station, KCLI, the OSU affiliate in Western Oklahoma, right?
Yes, News Talk KCLA 99.3.
Yeah. Oklahoma State is a 1.5 favorite in that one against the Mean Green, and it's also on ESPN2. So if you're streaming service, and I heard this during the high school tournament, um, I guess sometimes it's hard to link up the audio that you want to hear. So listen to it on KCLI and then have it in the background and then
There you
pause it a
go.
little bit and see if you can see if you can. And
So
maybe
you
if you
can
go through
sync
the
them up.
KCLI app, you can also kind of freeze it a little bit and get it synced up. That would be interesting. But like I said, just so much sports going on, and really, you at Wright Media, you guys have so much on the plate. And I know you've got baseball and soccer coming up this week. The
Yeah,
I-3 Classic is on the way, on the horizon. Talk about what you've got on your plate this week.
I'll be tonight actually. I'll be in hydro for slow pitch softball. I'll be back in hydro tomorrow for baseball, and then yeah, like you said, the I-40 Classic this weekend or Thursday and Friday. I'll be in Clinton both days covering the games there. But always some great baseball during the I-40 Classic. Okarche and Elk City are
Yeah.
playing each other in Clinton. Really, really looking forward to that game. Okarche got to do that Weatherford Okarche game in the Bricktown Ballpark
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Okarche, for their first game, only having a handful of days of baseball practice, they looked really good.
Yeah. They didn't really hesitate, did they?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I talked to Cy Scamhorn, the Weatherford relief pitcher in that one, and they, few things. That's the thing about high school baseball. A few things here and there just can kind of blow up into some of those innings, and then you lock things down. But if you don't make them have an inning where you get an offensive explosion, it's
Yeah.
really hard to come back.
No, no, just their though Okarche's defense was stout. I don't think they had any errors. Their pitching was on par. They could all hit the ball. And then Weatherford, they had a couple of errors out in the field and some throwing errors and stuff that kind of allowed Okarche to keep their runs going. But yeah, Okarche definitely a team to look out for in Western Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I was looking up. We talked last Friday with Newt Huntley from the Sooner State Baseball Report,
Hmm.
and I saw he released his. Let me get it pulled up here. He released his top 10 high school, and just talking about Weatherford and Clinton, the teams that they'll have to deal with, in any sort of playoff situation potential.
Yeah.
He's got Newcastle at the top.
A
Now,
4A
I'm
or all the
well.
state.
This is all classes because
Okay.
Here's his top 10, top 16. It calls it the SSBR High School Sweet 16. One is Newcastle, two is Owasso, three is the Dewar Dragons, which there's a great OU football player from Dewar. I'll enlighten you later. Four is the Edmond Memorial Bulldogs. Five is the Blanchard Lions. Six is the Elgin Owls, which I think Weatherford has played them already.
Yes, that was this weekend. Elgin
Yeah.
won that one 10-2.
Yeah, so the Tuttle Festival was going on over spring break. 7 is Mount St. Mary's. 8 is the Elk City Elks. 9 is the Tuttle Tigers. And the rest is all teams kind of east of us for sure. But Bixby, Carl Albert, Calera, Wright City, Rattan. Have you been to Rattan?
I have not.
Chad.
I know it's a drive, though.
Hydro.
Yes.
For some reason, the Hydro Eakley Bobcat baseball teams have just been drugged far southeast to Rattan.
I've been to Tushka to do hydro baseball.
Well, that's not too far from there. Choctaw and Collinsville. So Newt Huntley with his Sweet 16 of high school baseball and a lot of competition here in this part of the state for your flagship teams, Weatherford and Clinton, for sure.
Yeah. I know the hydro, with the splitting of all the classes, they split A and 2A this year like they did football. Hydro was ranked 9th in the first batch of OSSAA rankings. Canute was a couple of spots ahead of them, Arapahoe, Butler. All those schools are really, if you like high school baseball, you're living in a good area for Western Oklahoma. There's a bunch of competition this way.
Well, and I went and watched Thomas play, who was it they played? Shattuck, I think. Out at the fields in Thomas, and they fell to Shattuck, but they were really competitive. And Thomas this season has some influx from some of the Weatherford transfers, and then also some kids that have been playing for Ray Oaks at Thomas for the last several years, and they're kind of coming into their own as a baseball program too. And I see now. Explain me this. So OSSAA rankings, they're showing the rankings by split classes, right?
Yes, it doesn't say 2A1 or 2A2. They just have 2A rankings.
Okay. So like Tushka is number 1 in 2A. That would be 2A Division 2, correct?
Yes.
More than likely.
The smaller 2A,
okay.
I would imagine.
Yeah. And I see Sayre is in on that. They're number 19. And then also Hydro is in the top. Is number
big
9
A
last week in the A Division 1. Thomas has got a ranking number 18, so that's exciting. But also, I'm trying to look up, and I should have researched this before, but I'm trying to see if Newcastle got put into 5A in baseball or what. Baseball 4A. So that's going to be a tough pull for for people that are going to face Newcastle.
4A baseball is always really tough.
Boy, it really is. I mean, and between Tuttle and Blanchard the last couple of years, I mean, you cover some Elk City, and I know Coach Jay McClure, he lost his left-handed ace last season, Cash Mayfield, to the MLB first round
to the
draft.
Padres.
So, anyways, but they still, I'm sure he feels like, and I'm sure they do still have a lot of talent in Elk City.
No doubt. I know they have a couple of other college commits or college hopefuls. Cole Bowie's really good on the baseball field. Just a couple of other names that I remember from, you doing football and stuff like that. But no, definitely, Elk City's definitely hoping to make another run. I think it'd be their 3rd straight state tournament trip this year if they make it.
Yeah, if they do, because they fell really probably their best chance. They made it the furthest in Mayfield's junior season, I think. 2 seasons
I don't know.
ago.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But Elk City Newcastle was at the Tuttle Festival. They got a 7-2 win over Elgin, which that's Elgin has been pretty tough. And then they lost to Tuttle. So it's going to be a bloodbath, because Chickasha is really good. Yeah. And then Weatherford can pop up and play well also. And then, I'm not sure about Clinton this season with, Coach Kelly Gaunt, what he's got over there. But I know if Aiden Crumley's on the squad and a few others, they feel like they've got a team.
Aiden Crumley, Craig Hunter, he's going to Redlands to continue his career. Pitcher,
Yeah.
they got a little squad going in Clinton. Definitely kind of like a Weatherford. I think if they get hot at the right time, they can go
Yeah.
and definitely go on a run.
1-6 right now on the season, so a little bit of a rough start. But they've, they've played some tough teams. I look at this schedule. I see Canute, Chickasha, Leedy,
They put
and
up 23 runs on Leedy the other day, which is nuts.
yeah, they got the win on that, didn't they?
23 to 15 was that
Yeah,
final
you're right.
score.
23-15. So there's the handiness of having the sports guy from Wright Media that can remember those things. But just it's always a tough schedule, and I know districts for baseball out this way. It's kind of Elk City, Clinton, and Weatherford, and then you get into those by districts once you get in the playoffs, and it can really get crazy in regionals. I got to say, 4A regionals, and it's hard for me to relate to things, but in basketball, 4A regionals don't seem nearly as hard as baseball does. I mean, in a 4A regional, you're going to a really good team's home
Yeah,
to try to beat them in X amount of games and maybe punch your ticket.
that's the toughest part, I think, about regional or playoff baseball. I guess it's the same way in basketball, but you got to win two, and most of the time you're going to have to beat that home team two times back to back. And no, it's definitely tough having to travel in 4A baseball to get a win in regionals. The lower classes, going back to that, they split them up, so it's only going to be one round of playoffs for them now. So if you win your regional, both the regional champ and the regional runner-up will go to the state tournament.
Okay. That's gonna make for a lot of fun. I guarantee
Yeah.
you. 4A District 4 is where the wheelhouse of the squads that you cover and that I've covered. Elk City at the top of that, 8-0 and 3-0 in district, and then Bethany's in district this season, and they're 8-2 on the season. So
Yeah.
Weatherford and Clinton got a tough pool, and McGinnis is pretty solid. Woodward is a team that surprised me that hasn't been able to bounce back out of kind of a slump a bit, but you never know with the Boomers.
They all, their slump in athletics really surprises me. I mean, Woodward is a good sized town, and
Mm-hmm.
you would think that they would be a little bit more competitive in their sports and stuff.
Yeah.
Was it their girls team or their boys basketball team this year that was pretty good?
The boys basketball team got a real influx with Caden Gaines, a 6'6" freshman,
Yeah.
and his mom is actually the boys coach. Kayla Gaines, I believe is her name, if I remember right. And he's obviously been playing throughout the season, the off season, at a higher level because he came in Class 4A and could just really fill it up. And it had to have been from playing good competition on AAU or something of that nature, because he's going to be a force to deal with in the next 3 seasons for teams in Western Oklahoma, because the Sages and CJ could really kind of handle him, but there won't be another team like that with that much height and that much interior defense. And then the kid can hit from 3 too. So I project big things for Woodward and boys basketball upcoming. I was really surprised they kind of fell out the way they did. I mean, Cash, who Weatherford beat in the districts, eliminated them in regionals, I think.
Really?
Yeah, and at Kingfisher, and that is one that I did not see coming. And Cash punched their ticket to the area consolation with that win, and really beat them kind of bad. So it was a little surprising to see Woodward kind of fall like that. But I know that at 6'7" and being a freshman, you don't have all the muscle and bulk you're going to need going forward in your high school career. So that's probably something he'll work on. But
No doubt.
yeah, Woodward, it's baseball particularly, because I've talked to some of the coaches who've been around Western Oklahoma for a long time, and they say, Woodward used to be really tough in baseball, and they just have not found that stride once again.
Haven't had the athletes or haven't had the team.
Yeah. And, and you deal with Hydro Eakley, and, they hold an advantage over a team like Thomas because their players will play in the fall,
Yeah.
and it is a built-in advantage. But I mean, you still get kids that want to play baseball, and you got to have them really learning the fundamentals and doing things like that. How's your Minko Bulldogs doing in baseball?
They're all not out to a bad start. They competed. They actually played Weatherford today, which really surprises
Okay.
me.
Huh.
But they got a new coach who came from Tuttle, actually, and seems like he's doing a really good job turning the program around. I think they're on track to have a winning season, which is something that Minko baseball never did while I was there. So
Yeah. Well, it's that's the thing about sports, Luke, is these small towns, smaller towns, it's not like in the metro where kids can transfer in and things like
right.
that. It's
Who are you
cyclical.
referencing to, Chuck?
Uh, not just one. I mean, there's so many of them. But you know what I mean? It's cyclical in the small towns, and like Hydro Eakley, the run that they had in girls and boys basketball there for a while is
Yeah.
just amazing when you think about it. And not just that they had a cyclical run, but that they had two teams doing the same. And then really, baseball and softball were really tough during that time.
Yeah.
And then it's you see the small towns, and they'll have a group of kids come in and just kind of really get after it, and then they graduate. Sometimes they carry it on, sometimes they don't. But it'll be interesting. But so a lot of baseball on your plate. I know soccer is getting kicked off after spring break in earnest, and Weatherford and Clinton and Elk City really kind of the flag bearers for soccer in Western Oklahoma. Cordell does field a team. They've had a lot of struggles.
Gordon Bible has a team this year too,
No
which I didn't
kidding.
know that I didn't know that they fielded a soccer team, but yeah.
I did not know that either. Let me see if I can pull up some districts in 3A because they would be probably not seeing them in a district here, but
They had
Cordell is in District 1
for
of
3A.
3A, and they're 1-2 on the season, so that's always good to see them get a win. They beat McLeod, so not a bad thing there. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
have to keep an eye on the Crusaders and see what. Oh, there they are, District 2, Corn Bible Academy. No boys show no scores, no results right now. So, 13th of March. That might have been bad weather. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, soccer will be on your plate. You'll have to keep up with that. I know the Weatherford girls are thinking they want to return to the Class 4A girls state title where they fell to Oologah last season. Oologah will be tough again, but
Yep.
Weatherford's kind of like the boys team, the experience of getting to the finals, and then also underclassmen advancing and getting more experience. It could be a different turn for the Lady Eagles.
No doubt. I'm actually really excited. I'm planning to go to the Custer County Conflict soccer version. Is
Yeah.
that this month, isn't it, or this week?
Yeah.
But was talking with Justin Jefferson the other day, who calls the Clinton Red Tornado basketball, football,
Mhm.
and told him that I'd never been to a soccer game before. And he said, "Well, I'll save you a seat in the
No,
press box."
yeah.
So,
No Minko soccer program.
no Minko soccer program.
Looks like on the schedule, the boys at least Custer County Conflict may be scheduled for April 8th. So
April 8th. Okay.
that'll be a lot of fun. And
It will be.
Weatherford boys, I know they lost a lot of seniors last year, Jacoby Welsh and a few others, but they do have a lot of returning talent with Carson Allen and Yaish Chavez and several others. So it'll be fun. And Clinton, you talk about a boys program and their girls too. They reload. I mean,
They do.
it is extremely competitive in Clinton to get a spot in the starting 11 in soccer. But Coach Tommy Willis and Coach Carlos Lopez at Weatherford, and then at Clinton, you've got Coach Eugene Jefferson and Coach Gene Ray. It is a lot of fun covering
It is.
soccer in Western Oklahoma, and then also at Elk City. I mean, you've got Jason Zenos, who's been there. I think he's going in on year 3, maybe 2.
Okay.
But anyways, he's trying to get the program really, to be kind of like what Weatherford and Elk City have, and then also, I'm sorry, Clinton and Weatherford, and then also in the girls arena, it's ultra competitive there as well. And Zach Stom is the head coach there, and he's looking to get Elk City back in the playoffs as well. So, real quick, a couple of quick hits before I let you go. Kelsey Music gets the job at Arkansas for women's basketball, and she makes the move just three seasons, I think, separated from leaving SWASU for ORU and bumps up to a power conference job. I'm going to be honest, the Arkansas fans are really wicked on social media.
They are.
They were giving that hire a lot of grief over the weekend.
They were. I saw when I found out about it, was trying to see if it was, been confirmed yet. I was on their Arkansas Twitter and stuff, and
Yeah.
the comments were not nice to
No.
Coach Music.
No, and every program has trolls. I'll just say this: OU and OSU, from what I see on social media, it's just the random trolls that seem to mouth off about a hire. It seemed like Arkansas had a pretty good segment of trolls on their bashing the hire. I mean,
They did.
a friend of mine, Grant Merrill from up in Tulsa, he's a big Hogs fan, and he put out a tweet and said, or he commented on a tweet and said, you're getting a coach that's going to work hard, that has won everywhere she's at, and taken teams, to a lot more success than maybe they were used to, or just things like that. And it's good to see somebody kind of swing for her with the Arkansas crowd.
No, I mean, all you got to do is look at her track record. Like you said, she lived in the Division II national tournament when she was here at SWASU.
Yeah.
Took the Lady Dogs to the national championship, fell there, and totally turned around the ORU program. She was 57-39 in her 3 years there. Second in the Summit League in the regular season this year. So she definitely has the right track record and knows what it takes to win.
For sure. And another friend of mine who's a big Arkansas fan, he said it's going to depend on the school investing the money, and that's what you get nowadays. It doesn't matter who you hire if the school's not going to get you the ingredients to cook with, I guess you could say.
That's a good way to put it. You got to have the recruit, especially at that level. You mean you're competing against the defending national champs. You got South Carolina in that conference.
Well, and the other fellow number one team in the nation, Texas, is they found their stride in women's basketball. And anyways, but also looking forward to OU softball and baseball. I think it's going to be real competitive for both squads. Obviously, OU softball is in there, but Arkansas hires Kelsey Music, the former. She's a Canton alum and played for the Canton Lady Tigers, and then coached at SWASU for several years and had a great run there. So we wish her the best of luck with the Razorbacks. Before I get to my final point, Luke, SWASU baseball and softball, I heard on your sports this morning, the baseball team got swept at Southern Arkansas. Where are they sitting right now in the GAC?
The last time I looked, it would have been on Friday. They were 7th or 8th, so right on the cusp of making the tournament. But yeah, they got swept by Southern Ark, and then the Southern Ark softball team swept the softball team in Weatherford this weekend. So
yeah.
It was a good weekend for Southern Arkansas, bad one for SWASU.
Yeah, so mule riders and lady mule riders getting all over the Bulldogs over the weekend. But I tell you, and when I hear your sports, I'll generally try to go back and do some follow-up on SWASU Athletics website. I'm a terrible golfer. I wish somebody would have gave me a set when I was a set of clubs when I was in junior high, because if you could just be good enough to get the attention of any collegiate golf program. I mean, aren't the boys in Vegas this week or
They're in Wichita Falls, Texas. They were in Vegas a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And then the girls have played in, I think, South Texas and Florida.
Yep, they were in Miami this past weekend.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying this, I mean, it's collegiate golf, but I mean, it's not Georgia, Texas, or OU, but you're still getting to go to Florida and
no doubt.
And, I mean, and play on beautiful courses. I mean, I would like to sometime, and maybe you could get your bosses to rig this up. We should be able to go cover the GAC championships at that Hot Springs course that they play at.
I'm game for that, Chuck. I'll have to put a word in. That would be a lot of fun.
Just type up a request now and tell them no Mike Smith, because I don't want to follow any Big Ten sports while I'm on a road trip. But they need extra coverage of the GAC golf championships.
Yeah, no, that would be a lot of fun. And I remember when SWASU and Northwestern did their little, I don't even know what they called it now, but their little cup match in the Weatherford course.
Yeah,
it was we went and watched a couple holes of that, and it was so cool just to follow those guys around and um, just a different environment. I've only been on a golf course a handful of times, but it was really cool to watch the collegiate guys get after it.
I missed a comment. Big hello from Marty Wandry over at Clinton, the Clinton Red Tornado football sideline reporter, good friend of ours and good friend of the program as well. So thanks, Marty, for checking in on YouTube. Um, Real quick, my Facebook friends are probably suffering from fatigue, but the Weatherford boys state title win is just, it's really been a big deal, particularly me getting to call their games. But it's interesting now seeing, going into the offseason, Tate Sage, the shooting guard for Weatherford and their state championship boys team, committed back in the fall to Drake University.
Yes.
Ben McCollum is the coach who came there from one of the directional D2 schools in Missouri.
Northwest Missouri State, if I'm not wrong.
So he goes to Des Moines, goes to D1 for Drake. He's there, I think, a year.
I think this was his first year there.
Now he's, I believe, I don't know if it's confirmed, but the talk has been that he's going to go to Iowa City and coach the Hawkeyes.
No way.
Yeah, that was on today, and like I said, that's unconfirmed.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
that sucks for Tate.
It does, and I know Tate said one of the assistants was his primary recruiter, but I'm sure, and I don't know much about. I mean, obviously, I was no prize recruit athlete when I was growing up, but I just have to wonder what goes through the mind of a kid who's committed to a school, and then before you ever step on campus, the coach you were going to play for is gone.
And he seemed really excited just about getting to go play there and the program that he was going to play for, and seemed like he liked the coach. That sucks.
It's official. Iowa men's basketball coach McCollum, welcome to the program. So he had a heck of a run. That Missouri win on Thursday was great. I was glad to see Mizzou get eliminated, but then they kind of ran into a lot of other talent against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So Drake made a nice run. He'll take his talents to Iowa State. I shot a text to Tate to find out, what he was thinking, and I haven't heard back from him. But, I think that the state tournament run for the Weatherford Eagles boys team would have to have opened the eyes of some of the other programs that maybe we're sleeping a little bit on them. And I say this just because the fact, like, to me, and I know Ethan is probably extremely happy to go play at Pittsburgh State and Kansas. Obviously, you make a decision based on so much more. But I really kind of fashioned Ethan as a D1 player at 6'7", a good shooting touch, plays great defense, can get out and guard, other small forwards. But, you pick on based on what you're going to love and where you want to play. But I'll just be interested to see what Tate does if he goes ahead and goes on up to Drake, if they've got a plan to hire, one of McCollum's assistants and how that works out. It's going to be interesting to watch this over while you're watching tournament basketball, you get to watch coaching hires.
The coaching carousel.
Exactly.
No, you mentioned maybe you've opened some of the eyes from coaches who were sleeping on the Sages, but in the world of college athletics now, I feel like a commitment almost doesn't stop the recruiting. Like, you see so many kids decommit and switch colleges and stuff like that. So definitely interesting to watch out for. Yes. Like
I would have thought with Oral Roberts signing Cal Furnish, or, recruiting and getting a commitment from Cal Furnish, the Crossings Christian guard, I would have thought that, maybe they're twins. It's hard to fathom twins that don't stay together, after they're 18. But I would have thought one of them would be on Oral Roberts' radar, and maybe they were. I didn't go in depth with either one of the Sages on their recruiting, but we've got Walker Kennedy coming to the Hilltop to play for Brett Weiberg and Swasu, and then here's the thing, and I said this in my interviews in the post game. I interviewed a lot of basically tried to interview the entire team. The kids that are coming back, they're going to be slept on pretty hard.
No doubt.
I told him, I said, one thing people need to realize is you've practiced every day against the best team in Class 4A, and probably top 3 team in the state for sure.
Yeah.
So just real interesting to see what's going to happen. It'll be a lot of fun, but several players with a lot of talent coming back for Weatherford. So
Definitely gonna have something to say about returning next year that they can get it done without him. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, it'll be a chip on their shoulder, and that's a lot of times that helps out a lot of things. Hey, your Steelers, are they going to sign Aaron Rodgers or not?
I hope not. He's a diva, and I don't want to have to listen to all the stuff about missing OTAs and stuff like that. That's just not what I
You
want.
don't
And I
want
don't
to.
want Russell Wilson either. I'm upset we got rid of Justin Fields.
That was a little odd to me. What's funny is I think I heard over the week or at the end of last week that Jackson Dart, the Mississippi quarterback, might be on the Steelers' radar. And honestly, Luke, the first thing that came to mind was you want Kenny Pickett part two. Is that where you're going with that? Because yeah, he would pan out, but I mean, Jackson Dart didn't just wow me in college.
He's
Beat
got a big
OU.
arm, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And like you said, I would love to have seen Justin Fields get an entire run to show that with a running game and with some talent because man, whoever takes over that Steeler spot, you better be completing some passes with the talent they've brought in.
No doubt. DK Metcalf, George Pickens,
Yeah.
got a nice little receiving core, but we got rid of Najee Harris. He was the only active player in the NFL that had 1,000 yards from scrimmage in each of his years.
Yeah.
So a lot of offense missing there, but Jalen Warren, an Oklahoma State guy, undrafted, he's a stud and
Mhm.
can really get vertical. And so, yeah, we're going to have a nice offense, but got to have somebody to run it. And I don't know if Russell Wilson is the man for the job.
It's hard to say. We got to get out of here, but real quick, I want to give a big shout out to Wyatt Hendrickson, the OSU
Yes.
wrestler, for winning the national
Captain
championship.
America.
Upset over Gable Stevenson of Minnesota. And Trump was there, and Mark Wayne Mullen was there. And meanwhile, interest rates went up a little bit more. So thanks a lot. Hey, Luke, it's a lot of fun joining me here. And, man, thanks for coming on. And we'll get this put out and people can see your young, fresh face on the air. And thanks to Chato from Cato for getting you set up there on that other end. And let's make this a regular deal if you get the chance.
I'm game. Thanks for having me. I enjoy it every time.
Voice of South SWASU sideline reports and the Hydro Eakley Bobcats and the sports director for Wright Media. He's Luke Clement. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog. This has been Western Oklahoma Sports Night, early edition, and we'll talk to you again real soon.